The Pentagon briefing room fell silent as Lieutenant Emma Chen walked to the podium. At 28, she looked younger than most of the officers, filling the seats, her slight frame almost swallowed by her dress uniform. The rows of ribbons on her chest told a different story, but in a room full of decorated warriors, she was just another face. She was there to present findings on sniper tactics and urban warfare. Research she had compiled after 3 deployments. Nothing controversial, nothing that should have gone wrong. General Marcus Hartwell sat in the 3rd row, arms crossed, jaw set. A Marine legend with 30 years of service, he had commanded battalions, advised presidents, and earned respect through decades of sacrifice. He also had opinions about women in combat roles, opinions he usually kept professionally veiled. Usually. As Emma began her presentation, clicking through slides of trajectory analysis and environmental factors, she noticed his expression, skepticism mixed with something harder, dismissal. 15 minutes in, he raised his hand. The room tensed. Everyone knew the general's reputation for brutal questioning. Emma nodded to him, her voice steady. He stood slowly, deliberately, letting the moment stretch. He asked about her combat experience, his tone suggesting he already knew the answer wouldn't satisfy him. Emma replied that she had served as a sniper in Fallujah and Kandahar, completing 217 missions across 3 deployments. The room stirred. "That was significant experience by any measure." The general smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Other officers shifted uncomfortably. Asking about kill counts was considered poor form, even taboo, in many military circles. It reduced complex traumatic experiences to a scorecard. But the general waited, eyebrows raised, challenging her to answer or back down. Emma felt every eye on her. She knew what he was doing. He wanted to diminish her, to prove she was just another diversity checkbox who happened to wear a uniform. She met his gaze directly and said 11. 11 confirmed kills. The number hung in the air like an accusation. The general's smile widened. He made a show of nodding thoughtfully, then delivered his verdict. He said that in his day, snipers racked up numbers that actually mattered. He mentioned Carlos Hathcock with 93 confirmed kills, Chris Kyle with 160. He suggested, with poisonous courtesy, that perhaps her perspective was somewhat limited given her relatively modest contribution to the nation's defense. Several officers looked away. A few frowned. No one spoke. Emma stood perfectly still, her hands resting calmly on the podium. She waited until the room's attention fully returned to her, until the uncomfortable silence demanded to be broken. She explained that each of her 11 kills was a terrorist actively firing on American soldiers, or about to detonate explosives in crowded markets. She remembered their faces, the weather that day, the exact distance of each shot. She carried those 11 souls with her every single day. Her voice never wavered as she continued. She said she didn't know if that made her a better or worse sniper than the legends the general mentioned. What she did know was that she never took a shot to pad a scorecard or earn a reputation. She took shots to bring her team home alive. Some nights, she said, she wished her number was 0. She wished she lived in a world where her skills were never needed. But she didn't get to choose the world. She only got to choose how she served in it. The silence that followed was different now. Heavy with recognition, the general's face had gone blank, the smirk erased. Emma didn't look away. She didn't apologize or soften her words. She simply stood there, this small woman who had stared through rifle scopes at human beings and made impossible choices, and let her truth speak for itself. After a long moment, an army colonel began clapping. Slowly, others joined until the room filled with applause. Not the polite acknowledgement of a presentation completed, but something deeper, recognition, respect. The general remained seated, his hands in his lap. To his credit, he stood as the applause faded and did something harder than maintaining his pride. He apologized. He said he had spoken out of turn, allowed old assumptions to cloud his judgment. He thanked her for her service and her candor. Emma nodded, accepting the apology with grace he probably didn't deserve. After the briefing ended, officers approached her one by one, shaking her hand, sharing their own stories. The general left quietly, but several people reported seeing him in deep conversation with the base chaplain later that evening. Emma flew home the next day. Her daughter met her at the airport, running into her arms with the uncomplicated joy only children possess. As she held her close, Emma thought about the 11 people she had killed and the hundreds she had saved. She thought about the general and wondered if their exchange had changed anything, or if old beliefs died harder than that. But mostly, she thought about how survival, real survival, meant carrying the weight of what you've done and continuing forward anyway, knowing that the truest measure of a warrior isn't how many enemies they've defeated, but why they fought in the first place.